made 6.5% on the first month.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. What is your professional background?
Oh, I've been an entrepreneur all my life, man. I painted my way through college, and then I worked for a transmission shop, and I was running 3 shops, transmission shops, and I decided to open my own. I don't think the owner was real excited about that. It is what it is. I started my own. I did 27,000 the first month. So I was like, okay, so I opened another one. I just did a couple, but I really wanted to do real estate. So in 2000, I was watching some late night show. There was a guy named Ron LeGrand on it. Now, so I had seen Carlton Sheets before, and I went through his program, and it was all right. But I really liked Ron LeGrand. He was a trip.
Hmm.
He was funny, and I could relate to him. So, and I tried out one of his little programs. I ended up doing a lease option with my neighbor's house.
Hmm.
And I made $3,000 one month messing around with it. So I was like, maybe this is legit. Well, the next deal, I tried to do the same thing. We ended up getting the person qualified on the next house I went to, and I made $18,000, and that was a lot of money. So I was like, okay, all right, so this is what I need to be doing. So I started putting all my resources and knowledge into marketing and acquiring property. I ended up having 177 properties in 2008, right? So I wrote a book about it. I think Julio might have told you that. I don't know. But
I don't think it got back to me that you wrote a book about it, but I didn't know that you were really heavy into real estate.
I have
some properties.
Change Your Life with Real Estate is my book. I wrote that in 2008. Yeah, it's kind of bad timing, but I had $32 million in assets at that time. Now, I had some free and clear property, but I didn't have, I wasn't liquid 32 million.
Mm-hmm.
So my net worth was pretty good. And even after the fall of 2009, 8, 9, whatever, I signed $4 million over equity in April 1st, 2009. So I went real big. I came back down to, I had some kryptonite.
There he is.
Yeah, exactly. That's me. Had some kryptonite. Everybody got hurt that had any money. And I had money, and I still do. But I had more back then, but I have less headaches now. If that makes sense.
That makes a big difference.
And I have a kitchen. I have a kitchen and bath company also. We did 1.4, I think, last year. So it's not great, but I mean, it's not terrible.
It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. It's amazing relatively, and that's great. So then you have your kitchen and restoration business
In real estate.
And so that restoration business and your real estate portfolio as well.
That's correct. I have an apartment complex, 19 units, and that one right there brings in $31,000 a month.
That's excellent. And so for you then, what was your kind of like need or consideration for an additional income stream?
It wasn't a need. It looked like it was, you guys look like you were legit. I always wanted to try the Vortex, but I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't want to put my money in and lose it. And it seems like you got some good traders. So I don't know. It's better than just having a bot doesn't watch, when it's going down fast. It might, but I think a manual intervention sometimes needed more often than not, probably.
I know it's like, driving a Tesla, right? 80% of it is completely autopilot and all that, but that other 20%, arguably is bigger than the 80%, right? It's more important.
Right.
So don't want to end up wrapped around a tree or anything like that. So, 100% the manual intervention is absolutely needed. And unless you personally are like a really solid trader with years of experience, then it's likely not going to be the most optimized way if you're just going to use an algorithm or a bot and just expect that it's going to just constantly produce for you. There's always going to be some level of iteration that needs to happen in order for it to constantly be producing. So
right.
That makes sense. You didn't have a need. You kind of had a bit of an intrigue, a bit of a like, okay, well, I mean,
I thought it was interesting, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I tried it, and I think I'm up like a couple grand. I only put 30 in it. I mean, other than the initial deposit to get involved with you guys. I mean, but actual money that's working I only put 30 in so far. Yeah. But I just wanted to test it and see how it was rolling.
What have you actually tried before in terms of making passive income? Because I know that you got your real estate businesses, you've got those type of things that are a little bit more involved. Those are actual businesses that you've started and grown yourself. So what have you actually tried, or if anything, for the passive income side of things?
Real estate was my main thing. I mean, I've tried way back in the day, these network marketing stuff. It's a business, but it's a annoyance to a lot of people. Nobody wants to see you, and your friends and family avoid you because everybody has to hit their friends and family because that's the only ones that'll listen to them. Trying to sell something.
So how did you actually hear about us? You weren't looking or actively looking for something.
I don't really know. I just saw you on the internet. So it was actually you, and I was kind of like this. I like what you had to say. I said, I'll try it. I'll listen to it. And I talked to this dude, Gary, on the phone, and he's from England or something. So, or Australia. I can't remember where he's from, but
it's both. He's from England, but spent some time in Australia.
Yeah. He's totally confused. But
he's got an identity crisis.
So anyway, so I had a good time talking to him, and I don't know. I just so far so good. I mean, if it continues that way, I think it'd be great. What's your projection on that? You think it'll still go on that way, or how are we going to maintain that? Is what my
Yeah,
concern is.
it's like, anything, it always is going to need to have iterations. It's always going to need to adapt for optimization. But ultimately, we know that the market is what it is, right? There's ups, there's downs, right? That it's not linear. It's not just going to constantly do this. There will be some
Yeah,
movement to it. But overall, year over year, we look for a 60% or better year. Right.
yeah.
And if we hit that, everybody's happy, everybody's winning, even if it's a little bit below. But typically, we want to have that number be the benchmark because, again, that's like 5+ times higher than the average of the stock market and in real estate on average. Right.
You've been doing this almost a year.
No, it's been more than 2 years for
Oh,
me.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been offering it to the public for a little over a year, is what it's been.
How can I get more involved? If this continues on, I mean, how can I get other people involved or something like that? How is it going to benefit me to get more people involved? Just not just my money, but how can I get more involved possibly?
Yeah, for sure. So what we do have is an ambassador program. It's for the people that do feel like this is something that they would like to promote. They want, ultimately, we're not looking for everyone to do this. Isn't a MLM or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I know.
We're only selecting a few people to do this, but it's just somebody who has the ability to actively promote ATN. And there is a referral that you would get. There's 10% of the actual package fee. So for example, if it was a 30K package, you would get 3K of the actual package fee if you were to successfully refer someone. And then also it's someone that is as well open to be able to take a call with a prospect who may be hesitant, so somebody who Gary is connected with and just is like, well, I just want to be able to speak to a live client to get a reference and figure out if this is you guys are who you say you are, and those type of people, which is there's no problem with them. We do have a select few of our clients who are considered brand ambassadors that we do have them connect with on that end. So if that's something that you're open to, we'd absolutely like to just go ahead and add you to that list and reach out to you. Julio would just reach out to you if we had somebody that, was needing a reference. And then also you would just connect with Julio. Hey, Julio, I've got Sarah. She's a nice person. She's really interested. I told her all about it, showed her my thing, showed her my account. Is it okay if you connect with her and help her get set up? And then once that's the case, once she is officially a member, then you would get your referral fee and the process continues.
I mean, yeah, I like what so far. I mean, I like it. I haven't taken any money out, so I don't know how that works yet. I have no need for it yet.
I always encourage clients to test it, even just so that you don't have that whole thing in the back of your mind of, well, I haven't taken any money out. So at the very least, you go ahead and test it, even if it's with $100 or whatever it would be. I know you, like you mentioned, you don't have a need for it. But again, that's what I did when I kind of first was getting into this space. I was just like, okay, the first thing is see if it works. Second thing is see if I can pull my money out. If those are the two that are able to happen, then I'm kind of good going forward. I definitely encourage you to do that. For you, you saw an ad, it piqued your interest. You're like, these guys seem legit. These guys seem like they know what they're talking about. How did you actually feel just before joining ATN? Were you skeptical? Were you nervous at all?
I mean, yeah, I didn't know if I was going to or not, but I talked to Gary. I just said, Gary, I said, I'm going to try this out. You seem like a legit person. Obviously, you're looking at somebody in their face and you can at least see their face and they're somewhat legit. It could be a big scammer too. I just felt like he was sincere.
Love it. So on that end, right, like you had a setup process. Who did you get set up with, by the way? Was it Julio, Aquila, David?
It was David, your brother.
Nice. Now, what was the setup process with him like, and how long did it take? What was that process?
I was trying to get it done a little quicker, but they said that you have to wire it, then the money has to show up, and then you set up a onboarding call. I understand all that. I know it takes time, especially it's going out of the country. I was a little nervous about that too. And you had the same reservations, I would imagine, at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's why, like you mentioned, you start off with a number that you're okay to lose. Well, all of it is capital that you should be okay to lose, or whatever the whole saying is. It's past results don't dictate.
But I don't want to lose it. Don't get me wrong.
Nobody wants to, but you would be okay relatively if it were to be gone, of course. And that's what everybody starts with, their risk capital that they're comfortable with at first, and then get their proof of concept and then kind of make adjustments from there. So that's kind of what we always expect for our clients to do. And on your end, so you were able to get funds to where they needed to go. How has the ongoing communication been? Have you been able to get like your questions answered?
Pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I know everybody's busy, but I do get back. Problem is that we have delays on both sides with the Slack, and I have my notifications on to receive. For some reason, I just don't hear it. I don't see it. I don't know. I think it's both ways, honestly. I think it's on your end and my end, but we do get together, but it takes a minute or two.
Okay. Minute or two, as in like a day or two, or more like an hour or two?
It could be 2 or 3 hours. So
Okay. Well,
maybe a day.
And the biggest thing is for us on communication is that we don't want things, we don't want things to slip through the cracks. We want to be able to absolutely address anything that you need point blank period. But number two, we don't want it to be like an email back correspondence where like 2 or 3 days until we respond, and then you don't see it right away. And then, oh, okay, now there's another 2 or 3 days that went by and maybe you don't have that problem anymore, or maybe you just, all of those things. That's what we do want to have same day communication at the very least. And as well, just so if Slack for whatever reason isn't ideal for you, we can always switch back to either WhatsApp or iMessage or whatever.
iMessage is right on the money. That's
okay.
On my phone. So, I mean, if somebody hits me with iMessage, I'm immediately answering, because I have other people contact me and they need my immediate response.
We can definitely accommodate for that. Slack just allows for us to be able to kind of like have more than just David's eyes or more than just Julio's eyes on your case or on your account. It typically does end up being a faster response, but iMessage is definitely something that we're capable of making that adjustment to accommodate your needs quicker. On your end, John, what do you feel like has been kind of maybe the difference or something? Because of course you've seen ads before, right? You've seen things on YouTube or on Facebook.
Oh, I see them all the time. I mean, just like, for example, Billy Jean, great guy, marketing, all that stuff. I don't have time for that. I'm not the guy. I'm not trying to build another business. I have a business. I'm not trying to honestly expand it. I know it sounds like crazy, but I'm not trying to even really expand it. I'm happy and content where I am. Mm-hmm. And I'm 57 years old, and I did all the things y'all are doing. I've already done it. I've already spent that time. So I'm looking a little bit more on passive income that I don't have to do a lot to receive. Yeah. That's really what drew me to it. This is truly more automated than the other things that are out there. And you know that to be true. So.
Yeah, I know, pretty well. And a lot of the clients that we do have here know very well as well that a lot of it is over promise and under deliver, like false promises, or really it's just a scam. Or because there's always that, right? So on your end, right, how quickly after your account was actually set up, how fast were you actually making passive income?
It was showing that I was making a little bit every day. So it wasn't big, but it started adding up. And I think I made 6.5% on the first month. That's good.
I was going to say, how do you feel about 6.5%?
No, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I mean, my money's sitting in my bank account, losing money basically. Yeah. That I'm making some. I want to put some more in there. I just wanted to try it a couple months so I could feel a little bit warm and fuzzy.
I know exactly what you mean, 100%. So for you then, how passive has it been? It's been a few weeks and you've seen it kind of rolling and doing what it needed to do. How much work have you actually had to do in order to generate those couple of $1,000s?
Well, nothing really. I just had to get it set up and I just kind of check on it. They send me a report every day. So I know what it is. So it does go a little bit backwards and forward, but it is moving more than negative. So, and I expected that. When the market's going up or the market's going down, the bot's trying to hit it both ways. And then you have a person that's kind of overseeing it and correcting things that need to be corrected. I assume that's what's happening.
That's exactly what's happening. There's always a need to make sure that there's some course correction that happens. Again, it's just an algorithm. At the end of the day, it works off of parameters, and the parameters are what the trading team have set. It's still machine, a little bit imperfect in ways. And so there's some things that a professional, one with more than a decade of experience, is able to navigate things at certain points and make sure to kind of get us back on course to, again, end with profit. And more often than not, we do. It's kind of a 65 or sometimes a 70% win rate. And so, when you're at that, even at 51% of a win rate, you're still profitable. It just depends on how much in profit you would actually be. So, but in that case, I know that you had asked about the referral option, and down the line, of course, however long you need in terms of whether it's 6 months, whether it's 12 months in order to feel all the warm and fuzzies that you need, how likely would you be to recommend us?
If it projects the way it is right now, I'll definitely recommend you. 100%.
Love it. And I got 2 more questions, but we have clients of ours that, just like myself, right, we've kind of gone through other automation options before. We've been burned, we've been scammed, we've had issues before, but of course, here we are. And now great results are here. And so for someone who may be a bit skeptical or have been burned before, what would you say on their end if they are financially qualified? What would you maybe say to them if they're a little skeptical?
I would try it. I mean, opposed to other opportunities out there, and this one seems to be the most legit and the less amount of work. Really, it is truly automated. You have to learn a couple little things, but it's very minute for a person like me who's built big businesses, like real estate, renovation businesses, and even the automotive industry, repair stuff. I mean, this is definitely a lot easier, but you got to have some money in order to try it. I would say you would need some discretionary money to put aside like this. You could possibly lose some, but I think the upside looks better than alternative.
100%. There are kind of risks involved again in the market and any type of kind of thing that you're going to get into expecting for financial gain. But we definitely encourage people that, again, if they do have what you mentioned, discretionary income or risk capital, is just another alternative to rather than putting it in the bank and seeing it grow at a super small kind of pace. The last one that I actually have is, I'm not sure if you saw the email on the upcoming event that we do have at the end of September.
Yeah, I signed up for it.
Oh, you did? All right. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I put my money in.
I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. The team is as well. We'll really enjoy having some good times in Phoenix, Arizona.
Absolutely.
Love it. All right. Well, that was it. I appreciate you and the feedback. Otherwise, we will reconnect probably before Phoenix because that's still like 3.5 months away. So I'll probably see you another time or something and just kind of make sure we're still on the right track. But otherwise, until then, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, man. Have a good weekend.
So every 30 days, I talk one-on-one with my clients, and that was their experience. If you want to learn more on how we help our clients earn 60% or more per year, then click the link in the description below.